In 2005, in the city of Tal Afar, Iraq, a U.S. soldier stepped into a place other soldiers called the deadly alleyway. Moments later, he would sprint straight into it, toward machine gun fire, to save a man already shot multiple times. This is the true story of what happened next. It's June 7th, 2005. The sun is beating down over Fob Sykes, kicking up dust and the promise of another grueling day in northern Iraq. Around 9:30 in the morning, Sergeant First Class Gary Villalobos is gearing up. He's the motor section sergeant for Fox Troop, 2nd Squadron, 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment. He's a seasoned soldier, a professional. This mission, on the surface, feels like so many others. A routine patrol into the labyrinthine streets of Tal Afar. But this day, this mission, will become the single most defining moment of his entire military career. The task is straightforward enough. Villalobos is assigned to support a platoon of 17 newly trained Iraqi army soldiers. They're part of the transition, learning to take control of their own country's security. Accompanying them is a small U.S. transition team, which includes Lieutenant Colonel Crow and Sergeant First Class Washington. The idea is to conduct a series of raids, disrupting insurgent activity in a particularly volatile neighborhood. But in war, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. During the very first raid of the day, things go sideways. Washington is injured and needs evacuation, and like that, the American leadership element for this Iraqi platoon is cut in half. Only Villalobos and Lieutenant Colonel Crow remain to guide the 17 Iraqi soldiers through a city that is about to explode into chaos. And it doesn't take long. Suddenly, the air is torn apart by the sounds of combat. Hand grenades detonate with dull, heavy thuds, echoing off the concrete walls. An improvised explosive device goes off somewhere nearby. A massive boom that shakes the ground. The distinct, terrifying whoosh of rocket-propelled grenades streaks across the sky, painting fiery trails between buildings. And then comes the endless, ripping chatter of machine gun fire. Bullets ricocheting from every surface, turning open streets into death traps. Over the radio, frantic calls for help pour in. Multiple U.S. units, operating in different parts of the city, are suddenly in heavy, sustained contact. The city has erupted. In the midst of this pandemonium, Villalobos receives a new, urgent order. A friendly unit is pinned down, taking heavy fire and unable to move. He needs to move an Iraqi squad into a support by fire position to relieve the pressure on them. It's a critical task. If those pinned down troops don't get help, they could be overrun. But there's a problem, a big one. The only available route to get his squad into position is down a narrow, twisting alleyway. This isn't just any alley. It's a place the soldiers have come to know and fear. A place controlled by insurgents, a known ambush point, a place they call the deadly alleyway. Going down that alley is a suicide mission. Every soldier there knows it. Yet, the order stands. Lives are on the line. Without hesitation, Sergeant First Class Villalobos and Lieutenant Colonel Crow take the lead. They understand that leadership in these moments means being at the front, sharing the risk. They move cautiously, leading the Iraqi platoon into the mouth of the alley. The walls feel like they are closing in. Dust hangs thick in the air, catching the stark sunlight in hazy beams. Every shadow, every doorway, every window holds a potential threat. They round a corner, and the world explodes. It's a perfectly executed ambush. 5 insurgents, hidden in fortified positions, open fire with a torrent of small arms. The sheer volume of fire is staggering. The first 2 Iraqi soldiers in the formation are hit immediately and fall. Colonel Crow, just 10 meters ahead of Villalobos, is struck by multiple rounds. He stumbles and collapses, lying exposed in the middle of the kill zone. The ambush is so violent, so overwhelming, that the Iraqi squad breaks. Under the intense, withering fire, nearly all of them retreat, scrambling for cover back the way they came. The tactical situation has just gone from bad to catastrophic. Villalobos is now effectively alone. Only 2 Iraqi soldiers remain with him, but they're terrified and there's no translator. They huddle behind what little cover they can find, only firing their weapons when Villalobos fires. He is alone, facing a prepared, fortified ambush. With his wounded commanding officer lying in the open, just meters away from the enemy. Villalobos knows what happens if he fails. The insurgents will push forward. They will get to Crow first. They will capture an American lieutenant colonel, and the United States military has a sacred creed, an ethos burned into every soldier. You do not leave your people behind. Ever. In that moment, with bullets cracking past his head and dust kicking up all around him, Villalobos makes a choice. He isn't going to retreat. He's going to attack. His training kicks in. He gets on the radio, his voice calm despite the chaos, calling for armored support. He knows he needs heavier firepower, and a Bradley fighting vehicle is his best bet. But it will take time for it to arrive. Time that Crow doesn't have. He needs to create an opening. Right now. He unclips a fragmentation grenade from his vest, pulls the pin, and with a surge of adrenaline, he throws it. The grenade arcs perfectly through the air and lands directly inside the enemy's fighting position. The explosion is deafening, filling the narrow alley with a cloud of dust, smoke, and debris. The enemy fire falters, just for a second. It's the opening he needed. Without a second thought for his own safety, Villalobos sprints directly into the kill zone. He runs straight toward the sound of the guns, into the very heart of the ambush where his commander lies wounded. Dust and debris from the grenade blasts fly around him as insurgent rounds, now more sporadic, crack past his body. He reaches Crow, who is grievously wounded but still alive. With immense strength, Villalobos lifts him, grabs him, and begins the long, grueling drag back down the alley, away from the enemy and toward the sound of the approaching Bradley fighting vehicle. His single act of unbelievable courage changes everything. He prevents Lieutenant Colonel Crow from being captured or killed. He disrupts the ambush, allowing his small element to regain a foothold. He turns the tide of the entire firefight in that small section of Tal Afar. The arriving Bradley provides the heavy firepower needed to suppress the insurgents for good, allowing them to safely evacuate Crow and secure the area. For his incredible courage under fire on June 7, 2005, Sergeant First Class Gary Villalobos was awarded the Silver Star, one of the nation's highest awards for valor. The citation reads for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action. But for Villalobos, it wasn't about medals or glory. It was about upholding the warrior's ethos, that simple, powerful promise. I will never leave a fallen comrade. On that day, in that deadly alleyway, he proved what those words truly mean. Gary Villalobos didn't fight for glory. He fought for his brother in arms. And here on Unforgotten Archives, silence doesn't erase truth. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider subscribing for more true stories of heroism.